English for Tech, Code, Collaborate, Connect. Introduction. You are deep in your work, typing fast. You just fixed a hard problem, or maybe you are building something new that feels amazing. That feeling? That is what being a developer is all about. It means solving puzzles, making things work, and always learning. We learn new ways to code, explore complex tools, and work through tricky problems. Our tools are strong, our problems are hard, and it feels great when something works. But in this world of code and building, there is another language we all need to use. It often works behind the scenes, helping us understand and build things together. The truth is, the world of technology is like a big village. The tools you use, the parts of code you need, and often the people you work with come from all over the world. This is wonderful. It means we can find great talent and new ideas. But it also means that English has become the common language for our work. Think about it. When you need to learn about a new tool, where do you look? Usually at its instructions, which are in English. When you see an error message, it is often in English. And when you work with people from different countries, your daily talks, your reviews of code, and your problem-solving sessions are in English. Sometimes, reading about technology can feel like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. You might know what you want to do, but the instructions are not very clear. Or maybe you were in a team meeting where an important detail was not understood, causing confusion and lost time. These are not small things. They can slow you down, cause frustrating mistakes, and even limit your chances. It is like having a very fast car, but not knowing how to drive it perfectly on every road. This is where technical English communication comes in. It does not mean you have to be a writer of stories. It means learning the special way English is used in technology. Think of it as learning the special language of our job. Technical English communication means you can easily read and understand instructions about technology, the guides, the API rules, the error messages. It means you can write clear notes in your code, comments that explain your thoughts so your teammates and you later can easily understand what is happening. And it means you can talk well with your coworkers, whether you are asking a question, explaining something, or joining a lively talk about technology. The main idea of this book is simple but strong. Being good at this special kind of English is very important for you as a software developer. It is the key to using your tools in the best way, to working well with people from all over the world, and to doing really well in today's global technology world. This book is made to be your helpful guide, not a boring grammar lesson, but a set of tools for developers like you. By reading this book, you will not just learn about English. You will gain the confidence to handle any technology problem, no matter where its instructions come from. You will learn how to get past confusing words and understand what instructions are really telling you. You will find out how to write code notes that are not just there, but truly helpful, making teamwork easy. Imagine being able to start on a new project or tool with less worry, knowing you can understand the information available. Picture yourself helping more in team meetings, feeling heard and understood. This is about helping you do your best work. We will focus on useful skills, like understanding the small differences in technical words, writing clear and good messages, and dealing with the common communication problems that happen in international technology teams. You will become someone who learns faster, a more useful team member, and a developer with more chances in the future. This book is set up to guide you one step at a time. We will start with the basics and move to more complex things, always focusing on what is most important for your daily work as a developer. You will find many real-life examples, situations you have probably seen, and useful tips you can use right away. Each part is made to build on the one before it, helping you understand and get better at technical English. Communication. So, let's start this journey together. Let's use the power of clear talking to make your technology career even more successful. Because in the end, great code is only part of the story. How we talk about it, understand it, and share it is what truly connects us and builds the future. 1. Learning English for tech work. In today's busy world of making computer programs, English is more than just words. It's the way people who build software talk to each other, fix problems, and create new things. Think of it like a magic translator that helps coders from different countries and companies understand each other, even when they use different computer languages. If you work in tech, especially if you want to join teams from other countries, getting good at English is like getting better tools for your job. It can open up chances you might not see yet. Let's be real, learning a new computer language or system is hard. You need to know the commands, how things work, and how they all connect. Now, imagine trying to learn all this, but the instructions and help you need are in a language you don't fully know. It's like trying to build something big with missing tools. This is where talking about tech in English becomes important. It's not about talking like you do every day. It's about learning the special English skills you need for your tech job. This means knowing the special words, phrases, and ways of explaining things used when coding, fixing mistakes, and working with others. The truth is, most of the newest information, the latest tools, and the clearest explanations of how software works are written in English. The computer languages themselves often use English words like if, else, while, and function. When you look for help online, websites like Stack Overflow, which are super useful for coders, are mostly in English. Even the error messages from your computer programs are usually in English. If you can't quickly understand what these messages mean, you'll waste a lot of time feeling stuck and frustrated, and you won't move forward with your project. Think about a coder named Anya. She was very good at coding in her home country and was known for solving problems well. When she joined a tech company with people from different countries, she had trouble. She understood the basic coding ideas, but reading the detailed plans for projects felt like trying to solve a hard puzzle. The technical words were one thing, but the small differences in how sentences were put together often made her misunderstand what was needed. When she wanted to ask a question in a team meeting, she would wait, worried she might say a word wrong or use the wrong phrase, which made her feel less sure of herself. Her progress slowed down, not because she wasn't skilled, but because the English barrier made her daily work harder. Anya's story is not the only one. Many skilled coders have similar problems. Not learning talking about tech in English can have big results. You might find yourself fixing problems slower. When you can't quickly understand an error message or some instructions, it takes much longer to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. This makes your work take more time and can affect when things need to be finished. Missing chances, important company news, chances to learn new things, or even talks about new project ideas might be missed or misunderstood if they are mostly in English. This can affect how your career grows. Not understanding each other. In teams, especially with people working from home, mistakes in understanding can happen easily. If your explanations or questions are not clear in English, others might not get your point, which can lead to mistakes or wasted work. Feeling alone. When you can't join in discussions or understand what people are saying, you can start to feel left out. This affects how motivated you are and how happy you are with your job. So, how can a coder like Anya or you learn the English that really matters for tech work? You don't need to memorize a book of random words. You need a smart plan. First, use the official instructions. Every tool, system, and program you use has instructions. This is where you should learn. When you see a new command or idea, don't just glance at it. Try to read the explanations carefully. Pay attention to the action words like gives back, takes, starts, the words that name parts like setting, input, copy, and the words that describe them like not needed, must have, happens later. This special language is the base for talking about tech in English. For example, when you see something like fetch data URL, string options, fetch options, promise, understanding this means knowing that URL is text, options might not be needed, fetch options is a certain kind of data, promise means it will finish later, and response is what you get back. Just changing words one by one won't give you this deep understanding. You need to learn what these words mean when you are coding. Next, use online translators carefully. Tools like Google Translate can be very helpful for getting the main idea of an article or a difficult sentence. But they are not perfect, especially with very technical stuff. They might miss the small meanings of words or the special tech words. Think of them as a helpful friend, not someone who does all the work for you. If a translation doesn't make sense, try saying the original sentence in a different way or break it into smaller pieces. Joining English-speaking tech groups is also a great way to learn. Websites like Stack Overflow are amazing for seeing how real coders ask questions and explain how to fix things. When you see a question you like, read the question and then read a few of the answers. Notice the words they use. How do they describe the problem? How do they explain their code? How do they politely suggest better ways or point out mistakes? Being part of it, even just by liking good answers or saying thanks, helps you join the conversation. Let's think about Anya again. She decided to actively work on her English for tech. She started by spending 15 minutes each day reading the official instructions for the main tools she used. When she saw a new word, she would write it down in a notebook with what it means and an example. She also started joining in on Stack Overflow. At first, she didn't answer hard questions, but she commented on answers she found helpful, saying things like, "This explanation of the use effect hook was very clear, thank you." Or "I had a similar problem with things happening at different times. Your way of using a sync await helped me fix it." Great explanation. This active practice started to make a difference. She began writing more detailed notes in her own code. Instead of just save user, she would write save user information to the database, including their profile details and the time they last logged in. She also started writing clearer notes when she saved her code changes, like feet. Add ability for users to change their profile instead of just feet. Change profile. These small changes made her code easier for her teammates to understand, especially when they had to check her work or take over a task. When it came to talking with her team, she practiced saying what she wanted to say before meetings. She would write down the main phrases she wanted to use. Instead of saying, "I think this is bad," she learned to say, "I have some worries about how this plan might affect how fast things work. Or could we look at other ways to make it work better for more users?" This change in how she spoke made her feedback more helpful and professional. The best way to learn the most important English words for tech is to be smart about it. Don't try to learn everything at once. Focus on the tools and systems you use every single day. If you build websites with React, focus on words about parts, information, and how things work. If you build the backend of websites with Python and Django, focus on words about how the program shows things, how it stores information, and how it connects to the database. Make flashcards, use apps that help you remember, or just keep a list in a document. The more you see and use these words when you're working, the more natural they will feel. Asking for feedback is also very important. If you have a teammate who speaks English well, ask them to read something you wrote or a difficult email you are sending. Even asking a teammate, "Does this explanation make sense?" can give you useful ideas. They might point out a phrase that could be clearer or a word that could be more exact. This kind of helpful advice is a gift for getting better at talking about tech in English. Learning English for tech work is not about becoming perfect overnight. It's about building useful skills that let you do your job well. It's about understanding the instructions, the talks, and the knowledge shared by people in tech all over the world. By focusing on the special language of your field, using learning resources, and practicing often, you'll see that the problems start to disappear, and your ability to code, work with others, and connect will grow a lot. This focused effort is what truly helps you reach your full potential in the worldwide world of making computer programs. 2. Reading API documentation. Imagine you get your dream job as a computer coder. You are excited and ready to make cool things. But then you have a job to do that needs a new tool, a new service, or a program you have not used before. How do you learn to use it? Most likely, you will look at its instructions. For most computer tools, these instructions are called API documentation. Think of API instructions like a guide for a very big and complex machine. It tells you exactly which buttons to push, which handles to pull, and what will happen when you do. Without these instructions, you are lost and might break something. This is where your technical English communication skills become your superpower. It is not just about knowing how to code. It is about understanding the words that explain how to use the code and tools that other people have made. Let's talk about a time when I, like many coders, had to read a lot of API instructions that felt like a different language. I was working on a project that needed to connect to a new way to handle payments. The company said it was easy to add, but their API instructions were a thick forest of words I did not know and confusing sentences. I spent days just trying to understand how to ask for a simple payment. Every time I thought I understood, I would hit a wall, see a strange error message, or get a result that made no sense. It was hard, took a lot of time, and honestly, made me feel a bit silly. I felt like I was failing not because I could not code, but because I could not read the instructions well. This experience showed me something very important. Clear, well-written API instructions are a coder's best friend. And for us, as coders who might not speak English as our first language, learning to read them well is a very important skill. It is not about becoming a book expert. It is about learning how to feel sure that you understand how a piece of software works, so you can use it to build your own amazing things. API instructions, your coder's guide at its core. API instructions are the bridge between you and the features that someone else has built. An API, or application programming interface, is like a set of rules and tools that lets different computer programs talk to each other. For example, when you use a weather app on your phone, it probably does not get the weather information itself. Instead, it uses an API to ask a bigger weather service for the latest news. The instructions tell your weather app how to ask for that information and what to do with the answer it gets. This is why understanding API instructions is so important. It is the main place to find the truth. If you need to use a specific place to store data, send an email using a service, or process a payment, the API instructions are where you will find out exactly how to do it. They tell you what actions you can ask the service to do, like get user information or create a new order. What information you need to send with your request, like the user's ID or the order details. what kind of answer you can expect back from the service, like the user's profile or a message that the order was placed. Without understanding this guide, you are like a cook trying to make a fancy meal with a recipe written in a language you do not fully know. You might guess some ingredients or steps, but the result will probably be unexpected, and you will waste a lot of time and energy. Getting good at the English used in these documents directly helps our main idea of technical English communication, understanding and using special words, reading and figuring out technical guides like API instructions, and writing clear, short notes. It is about making sure you can use tools well, which is a main part of doing well in the tech world. Figuring out special words and short names. Your detective work. One of the biggest problems when you first look at API instructions is the huge number of words and short names you do not know. You will see words like HTTP, JSON, REST, GET, POST, PUT, delete, endpoint, parameter, payload, header, authentication, authorization, and so on. It can feel like too much, like trying to learn a new language in one night. The good news is that you do not need to know every single word before you start. Most of the time, you can figure out what they mean by using different methods. How it's used matters. Often, the meaning of a word becomes clear from how it is used in a sentence or a part of text. If a section talks about sending a GET request to get user information, you can guess that GET is an action related to getting something. Look for word lists. Many well-written API instructions have a list of words with their meanings. This is the first place to look when you see a word you do not know. It is like having a small dictionary just for that API. Use online tools. If the instructions do not have a word list, or if a word is still not clear, the internet is your best friend. A quick search for word meaning programming or word explained will usually give you helpful answers from places like Stack Overflow, MDN Web Docs, or Wikipedia. Remember, technical English communication means using special words, and learning these words is part of that. Short names often have a key. Short names are made from the first letters of other words. For example, API stands for Application Programming Interface. You will see many technical short names. If the instructions do not write out what they mean the first time they are used, look for a definitions or word list section. If nothing else works, a quick search will usually show you what they mean. Let's say you see the word endpoint. The instructions might say, the user's endpoint lets you manage user accounts. From this, you can guess that an endpoint is like a specific address or a door within the API that leads to a particular function or group of data. It is a place where you send your requests. The goal is not to memorize everything, but to build a set of tools for understanding. As you see more APIs, you will notice that many words and ideas are used again and again. This repetition is good. It means you are building a stronger base in technical English communication. Common ways API instructions are organized. Following the map. API instructions, though different, often follow a pattern. Learning to see these common parts will make reading them much easier. Think of it like learning the layout of a map before you start a trip. Here are some typical parts you will find, and what they tell you. Introduction overview. This is usually the first thing you will see. It gives a general idea of what the API does, why it is used, and its main features. It is like a welcome sign and a short description of the place you are visiting. It sets the scene and gives you a general idea of what to expect. Authentication authorization. This part explains how you show who you are to the API and what you are allowed to do. This is very important because many APIs protect private information or functions. You might need an API key, a username and password, or a more complex code. Understanding this is vital for safety and for making any requests at all. Endpoints resources. This is the main part of the instructions. It lists all the different actions you can do and the data you can access. Each endpoint is usually a specific web address like HTTPS, api.example.com users that you connect with. For each endpoint, you will usually find details about HTTP method. This tells you the type of action you are doing. The most common ones are GET, to get data like getting a list of users; POST, to create new data like adding a new user; PUT, to change existing data like changing a user's email; DELETE, to remove data like deleting a user account. Parameters. These are the pieces of information you send with your request to tell the API what you want. They can be part of the web address, query parameters, or sent in the request body. You will need to know their names, what type of data they expect, text, number, date, and if they are needed or optional. Request body. For POST and PUT requests, you often need to send a block of data with your request. This part describes how that data is put together and what it contains, often in a format called JSON JavaScript object notation. Responses. This describes what the API will send back to you. It includes status codes. These are numbers that tell you if your request worked or if there was a problem, e.g., 200 OK means it worked, 404 not found means the thing you looked for was not there, 500 internal server error means something went wrong on the server. Response body. This is the actual data that the API sends back, often in JSON format. It will describe how the data you get is organized. Error codes messages. This part lists common problems you might see and explains what they mean and how to fix them. This is very helpful for finding and fixing mistakes. Examples. Many APIs provide small pieces of code in different programming languages that show how to make common requests. These are extremely useful. When you see a new API, what are the first 3 parts of its instructions a coder should look at first and why? I would say the very top 3 are: 1. Authentication authorization. You cannot do anything if you cannot connect correctly. Understanding how to prove who you are is the door to all other functions. If this is not set up right, no other part of the instructions will make sense because your requests will just fail right away. 2. Endpoints resources, especially the main ones you need. Once you know you can connect, you need to know what you can do. Focus on the endpoints that are useful for your job. For example, if you need to create a user, find the Create User endpoint. This part tells you the actions, HTTP methods, and things resources of the API. 3. Examples. Reading is good, but doing is better. Seeing actual code examples that show how to use an endpoint, how to put parameters together, and how to handle answers is very powerful. It bridges the gap between reading the description and actually writing the code. It gives clear, useful steps. These 3 parts give you the basic knowledge to start using the API. You will learn how to get in, what doors you can open, and see how others have done it before. Why examples and code snippets are important. Learning by doing. Examples are the lifeblood of understanding API instructions. Reading about how to send a request is one thing, but seeing it in action is another. Well-written examples are like having an experienced coder next to you, showing you exactly how to write the code. These snippets usually show how to build the request. They show you the exact web address, the correct action type HTTP method, and how to format any parameters or the request body. How to handle the response. They might show you how to read the JSON data you get back or how to check for specific status codes. For instance, an example for a GET request to get user information might look like this in Python, a popular programming language. Import requests a pikey equals your a pikey. You got this from the authentication part. User it equals 12,345 URL equals FHTTPS api.example.com users user it. Headers equals authorization fbearer API. 3. Writing clear code notes. Sometimes, looking at code can feel like trying to read a secret language. You see the commands, the names for things, and the actions, but the reason behind it all can be hidden. That's where good code notes, or comments, come in. They are like little signs, helping you and others understand the story your code is telling. Think of them as a very important part of your technical English communication tools. They make sure everyone on your team, no matter where they are or what language they speak first, can follow along. Let's imagine a situation. Sarah, a very good programmer, started a new project. The code was tricky, and she spent days trying to figure out why a certain part of the system acted in a strange way. She read the code many times, but the logic seemed correct. Finally, hidden deep in a file, she found a comment. Temporary fix for the ghost button bug in version 1.3. Revisit after stable release of Module X. This one short comment, written in simple English, instantly explained the mystery. It wasn't a mistake in the current code. It was a planned way to deal with an old problem. This comment saved Sarah hours of feeling stuck and helped her focus on the actual work she needed to do. Without it, she might have spent days trying to fix something that wasn't broken. This is the power of well-written code comments. They are not just something extra, they are a basic part of making good software. They help us explain the why behind our code, the choices we made, and the problems we solved. Why comments matter more than you think. You might ask, if the code is so clear, why do I need comments? That's a good question. Ideally, code should be as easy to understand as possible on its own. We try to write code that is easy to read, using clear names for things and logical steps. However, even the most perfect code can't always tell the whole story. Comments serve several important purposes. First, they explain the why behind the code. The code tells us what is happening. A name for something is getting a bigger number. An action is being done. A check is being made. But the comment can tell us why it's happening. For example, a piece of code might be made to work slower on purpose for a specific reason, like to make it easier to find mistakes during an important time. The code itself won't tell you this. A comment can, using a simpler, though less efficient, loop here for easier step-by-step debugging during the initial testing phase. This simple note saves anyone looking at the code from thinking it's a mistake or something forgotten. Second, comments are lifesavers for saving time when finding mistakes. When a mistake appears, the first place programmers often look is the code that seems to be causing the issue. If that code has comments explaining what it's for or any known oddities, it can greatly speed up the process of finding and fixing the problem. Imagine trying to find mistakes in a complicated set of instructions without any explanation of what it's supposed to do, or any known difficult parts. It's like trying to find your way through a maze with your eyes closed. Third, comments are very useful for helping new team members learn. When someone new joins a project, they have a lot to learn. Well-commented code acts like a guide, helping them understand the project's logic and structure much faster. Instead of only relying on long instructions or asking many questions, they can learn directly from the code itself. This is especially important in teams working from different parts of the world where new members might not be as strong in English. Clear comments help bridge that gap. Finally, comments help future you. We all know that feeling of coming back to code you wrote months ago and finding it hard to remember your own thinking. Good comments act like a memory helper, reminding you of the choices you made and the reasons behind them. The what vs. This is a basic difference. Many programmers make the mistake of writing comments that just repeat what the code is already doing. For example, JavaScript. This variable counts the number of items. Let item count equals 0. This function adds 1 to the count function. Increment count item count plus plus. This type of comment is not needed. The code itself is perfectly clear. Let item count equals 0 clearly says that item count is a name for a spot that starts with 0. Function increment count item count plus plus clearly shows that the action makes item count 1 bigger. These comments add no real value. They just take up space and can quickly become wrong. The real power of comments is in explaining the why. They should give background information, the goal, and the reason that the code alone cannot show. Look at these examples. Instead of check if the user is logged in, try before proceeding, ensure the user is authenticated to prevent unauthorized access to sensitive data. Instead of update the status, try update the status to processing as per the business rule that all new orders must be flagged for immediate review. Instead of remove the element, try remove the element because it's a temporary placeholder that should not persist after user interaction. These why comments give insight into the purpose, the business rules, or the problem being solved. They help other programmers and your future self understand the goal behind the code, not just how it works. This is where technical English communication truly shines, by adding layers of understanding that go beyond the exact instructions. Clarity and simplicity in English. When writing comments, especially for a team spread across the world, using simple and direct language is key. The goal is to be understood by as many people as possible, no matter what their first language is. This means using plain English and avoiding words that are too difficult. Use simple words. Choose common words instead of less common ones. For example, use instead of utilize, help instead of facilitate, show instead of demonstrate. Keep sentences short. Long, complicated sentences can be hard to understand, especially for people who don't speak the language fluently. Break down your thoughts into shorter, easy-to-manage phrases. Be direct, get straight to the point. Avoid using passive voice or language that is too formal. Avoid jargon when possible. While some technical words are necessary and can't be avoided, try to explain them if not. Everyone knows them. If you must use a specific technical word, make sure it's in a way that its meaning is clear. For example, if you're commenting on a specific method for doing something, mentioning its name is fine, but then briefly explain its main idea if it's not common knowledge. Be consistent. If you decide on a style for your comments, like always starting with the purpose, stick to it. Being consistent makes your comments easier to read and guess what's coming next. Let's look at an example of making a comment clearer. Original could be confusing. The rate limiting mechanism is engaged to prevent undue strain on the downstream service due to rapid successive requests from a single client session. Improve simpler English. To stop the server from getting overloaded by too many requests from one user at once, we limit how fast they can ask for things. The improved version uses simpler words: stop, overloaded, too many, user, limit, fast, and explains the idea in a more direct way. This makes it much easier for more people to understand. This focus on easy-to-understand language is central to good technical English communication in a diverse technology environment. Types of useful comments. Not all comments are equally helpful. Some types add much more value than others. Here are a few kinds of comments that are very useful. Explanations of tricky steps. When you create a method or a piece of code that is naturally complex, a comment can give a general idea or explain a part that is especially difficult. Example: this sorting algorithm uses a method of breaking the problem into smaller parts. It divides the list into two sections, sorts each section separately, and then combines the sorted sections. This makes it work well for large amounts of data with a speed of O(n) log n. Reasons for workarounds or quick fixes. Sometimes you have to use a solution that isn't perfect because of outside limits, mistakes in tools you use, or specific project needs. It's very important to write down why you chose this way. Example: workaround for bug 456 in the Awesome UI tool. The tool doesn't handle focus changes correctly on phones. This code manually sets the focus back after a short wait. See ticket 0123 for more information. To do and fix me. These are important for showing areas that need attention in the future. To do marks something that needs to be done. Example: to do. Change this action to use the new settings system once it's ready. Fix me marks something that is currently not working correctly or needs to be fixed. Example: fix me. This calculation is wrong for dates before 19 because of a number problem. Needs to be updated to use a larger number type. When using to do and fix me, be specific about what needs to be done and, if possible, link to a ticket or issue tracker. General idea comments. These comments, often placed at the start of an action, a group of code, or a section, describe its overall purpose, what it needs to start, and what it gives back. This is like instructions, but can be shorter and directly linked to the code. Example for an action: JavaScript fetches user data from the online service. At param string user ID the unique number of the user. At returns promise a promise that gives back the user's information. At throws error if the online service request fails or the user is not found. Async function get user data user ID code to fetch data. This is often done using special comment styles like JSDoc for JavaScript or docstrings for Python, which can even be used to create instructions automatically. Keeping comments up to date, perhaps the hardest, but most important, part of code comments is keeping them updated. A comment that is no longer correct is often worse than no comment at all. It can lead programmers to waste time looking for problems that aren't there or misunderstanding how the code works. The general rule is, if you change the code, you must update the comments. This should be as much a part of your work process as testing or saving your changes. Think of comments as living parts of your code base. They need to change along with the code. When you change an action, make its purpose clear or fix a mistake, take a moment to check and update any comments that go with it. Here's a simple way to think about it. When you are about to save your code, ask yourself, did I change any steps that need explaining? Are my current comments still correct for the code I just wrote? If someone else reads this code, will my comments help them or confuse them? This way of thinking about keeping comments updated ensures that your technical English communication remains a helpful guide, not a source of confusion. What is the single most important piece of information a comment can convey that the code itself cannot? The single most important piece of information a comment can convey that the code itself cannot is the developer's intention and the background reason from the business or problem-solving context. Code tells you what is happening. It shows the steps taken, the changes made, and the data used. However, it rarely tells you why those specific steps were chosen, what problem they are solving, or what the bigger goal is. For example, code can show that a specific value is being set to 0. The comment can explain, setting initial score to 0 as per game rules for new players. The code shows the action, the comment. 4. Collaborating in tech teams. In today's fast world of technology, working with others is as important as writing good computer instructions. Think of your team like a music group. Each person plays a different instrument. For the music to sound nice, everyone must know the beat, the tune, and when to play their part. In tech, English is often like that common beat and tune, especially when your team members are from different countries. This is where technical English communication is very helpful. It's not just about knowing tech words. It's about using English to make sure everyone on the team agrees on what to do, works towards the same goal, and feels like an important part of the project. Working together in tech teams, imagine you are creating an amazing new app. You have great ideas and your computer instructions are looking sharp. But what happens when your team has people from Japan, Brazil, Germany, and the United States? How do you all make sure you are building the same app, not 4 slightly different ones? This is where English becomes a helpful tool, like a bridge. In the global tech industry, English is the common language everyone uses. This means that even if English is not your first language, knowing technical English communication well is like having a special skill. It lets you join conversations, understand exactly what your project manager needs, and share your own great ideas without holding back. Even if your English is not perfect, being able to explain yourself clearly and understand others is a big help. It allows you to truly be a part of things, not just watch. When you can talk well in English, you are not just a coder, you are an active member of a worldwide team. You can understand the small details of what needs to be built, what problems need solving, and how your work fits into the whole plan. This shared understanding is the foundation of any successful tech project. Making language less of a problem. English is the main language of tech. Why English? It's partly because of history and partly because it's easy. Many of the first technologies and research in computers came from countries where English is spoken. As the internet connected the world, English became the easiest way for people who speak different languages to share knowledge, read instructions, and work together. Think about it. Most computer programming languages use English words. When you look up how to use a new tool or a set of ready-made code, the instructions are almost always in English. So learning to talk in English for tech is not just about chatting with your coworkers. It's about getting access to all the information and help available to you. For a programmer whose first language is not English, this can sometimes feel hard. You might worry about how you sound, about using the wrong word, or about not understanding a fast conversation. But remember the goal of technical English communication: to be understood. It's not about sounding like someone who grew up speaking English. It's about being clear and exact. When you can clearly explain a mistake you found, ask for help when you are stuck, or describe a new part you are creating, you are doing a great job. This clarity helps everyone else on the team. They don't have to guess what you mean. They can trust that what you say is correct, which saves time and stops mistakes. It means your contributions are heard and valued, no matter where you are from. Talking well in meetings and talks. Team meetings, whether they are short daily check-ins or longer planning talks, are where a lot of working together happens. For many, these can be the hardest parts of working in a team with people from different countries. Talks can move fast, people might talk over each other, and technical words are used a lot. So, how can you make sure your voice is heard and that you understand what is happening? First, getting ready is important. Before a meeting, if you can, look at what will be discussed. If there are any papers or topics to talk about, try to read them first. This gives you a chance to look up any words or phrases you don't know. Even knowing a few key words can make a big difference in following the conversation. When it's your turn to speak, take a breath. It's okay to stop for a moment. You can use simple sentences to make your point. Instead of trying to use long, complicated sentences, focus on being direct. For example, instead of saying, "I was having a bit of trouble with the part that connects things yesterday," and "I think the way the address for the connection is set up might be wrong, causing unexpected results," you could say, "I had a problem with the connection part yesterday. The address for the connection might be wrong and it's giving bad results." Shorter sentences, clearer meaning. Asking questions is also very important. Don't be afraid to say, "Can you please say that again?" Or, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that. Can you explain it one more time?" Or, "Can you spell that tech word for me?" Most people are happy to help when they see you are trying to understand. You can also ask for more details by saying, "So, if I understand right, you are saying we need to change how the data is stored before we put the new feature out." This shows you understood and gives others a chance to correct you if you didn't. Listening closely is more than just hearing words. It's about paying attention to the person speaking, nodding to show you are paying attention, and trying to understand their point of view. Sometimes, understanding the sound of their voice can also give you clues. Does someone sound worried? Noticing these feelings can help you answer in a better way. In technical English communication, understanding these small signs is part of it. It helps you build better relationships with your teammates. How can a programmer with not much English skill actively join in and help well in a team meeting where people mostly talk in English? This is a very important question, and the answer is in how you do things. First, focus on being clear, not complicated. Use shorter sentences and simpler words. For example, if you need to tell about a problem, instead of saying, "The system is showing a strange behavior that is not like the expected way it should work," say, "The system is not working as we thought it would." This directness is very valuable. Second, use pictures and tools. If you are explaining a tech problem, don't just use words. Use your screen to show the exact line of computer code, the error message, or the part of the screen that is causing problems. Draw a quick picture on a digital board. These visual clues can help when words are not enough. Many online meeting tools let you show your screen or use a digital board, which are great tools. Third, get ready with important sentences and words. Before important meetings, think about what you might need to say. Do you need to report a problem? Ask for help? Explain why something is late. Write down the sentences you might use. For example, "I am stuck because," or "I need help with," or "I will finish this by time date." Having these ready can make you feel less worried and make sure you can share important information quickly. Fourth, don't be afraid to use translation tools as a backup. While talking directly is best, if you are really finding it hard to explain a complex idea or understand a certain word, a quick look at a translation tool can help you find the right word. However, use this only a little, and try to say it in your own words afterward to make sure you truly understood. Finally, get to know people outside of formal meetings. Chat with your coworkers in a casual way. Ask them about their weekend, their hobbies. This builds personal connections, making it easier and less scary to talk during tech discussions. When people know and like you, they are more patient and willing to help you explain yourself. Writing for working together. Besides meetings, much of our talking each day in tech happens by writing. Emails, chat messages, reports about problems, and more. This is another area where technical English communication is very important. Clear writing stops misunderstandings that can spread through a project. Emails. When you write an email, Start with a clear subject line, something like problem report, login page error, or question about the part that checks who can log in. This tells the person right away what the email is about. In the message part, be brief. Get straight to the point. If you are reporting a problem, describe it clearly, what you were doing when it happened, and any error messages you saw. If you have a question, ask it directly. End with a polite closing like thanks or best regards. Instant messages chat. Tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams are great for quick questions and updates. However, they can also cause misunderstandings if not used carefully. Avoid writing long, complicated paragraphs. Break your thoughts into shorter messages. Use smiley faces sparingly and in the right way to show how you feel. A simple smiley face can sometimes make a direct request sound friendlier. If you need to talk about something in detail, it's often better to suggest a quick call instead of having a long chat. Updates on how things are going and reports on problems. These are very important for keeping everyone informed. A good update is short but gives useful information. It should say what you have finished, what you will work on next, and any problems you are facing. For reports on problems, be as detailed as possible. Include the steps to make the problem happen, what should happen, and what actually happened. This helps the person fixing the problem understand it quickly and well. What are the most common mistakes in writing, like emails, chat messages in international tech teams, and how can understanding specific English sentences and tone help avoid them? One of the biggest mistakes is not being clear. For example, a message like "Can you check this?" is not clear. Check what? A better way would be, "Can you please look at the computer code changes in pull request 123 by the end of tomorrow?" This tells exactly what to do. Look at code, what to look at pull request 123, and when to do it by the end of tomorrow. Another mistake is not understanding the tone. English has many ways to say things, and what might sound polite in one place could sound demanding or unfriendly in another. For instance, saying "you must fix this problem right away" can sound harsh. A softer, more team-oriented way might be, "This problem is causing big issues. Could we try to fix it as soon as possible?" Or "I saw this problem, and it's affecting people using the app. What do you think about fixing it today?" Using sentences like "Could you?" "Would you mind?" or "I was wondering if" can make requests sound more polite and like you are working together. Also, being direct can be good and bad. While being clear is good, being too direct without softening words can sometimes seem rude. For example, instead of "Your code is wrong," which sounds like you are blaming someone, it's better to say, "I noticed a possible problem in this part of the code. Maybe we could look at it together?" This invites working together instead of blaming. Understanding sentences like "Could you please?" or "Would it be possible to?" are important for polite requests. Sentences like "I'm not sure if I'm understanding correctly," but can be used to gently question something without sounding like you are arguing. And when you need to give feedback, focus on the task, not the person. Instead of "You made a mistake," try "There seems to be a small error here that needs to be corrected." This keeps the focus on the code and the goal of making good software. Learning these small differences in how you say things and the feeling behind them is a main part of technical English communication for working well in a team. Understanding and helping with team workflows. Modern computer development often uses planned ways of working, like Agile methods, Scrum, Kanban, checking code, and systems for managing code changes like Git. These systems need clear talking to work smoothly. In Agile, for example, daily quick meetings are short updates where each team member answers 3 questions. What did I do yesterday? What will I do today? Are there any problems stopping me? Being able to answer these clearly in English is very important. If you say, I tried to make the payment system work, but it kept stopping, and I don't know why, that is a clear problem. Your team leader or a coworker can then help. If you say, I worked on the payment thing, it was hard, it's much less helpful. Conclusion: you have reached the end of English for Tech, Code, Collaborate, Connect. This journey was not just about learning new words, it was about getting a powerful set of tools for your job. We started by understanding why English is so important in the fast world of technology. Then, we learned practical skills, like how to read difficult tech papers and write code notes that everyone on your team can understand. We also looked at how to handle tech words, or special language, and why clear talking matters so much when working with people from different countries. As you have seen in these pages, learning tech English talk is not an extra thing. It is the strong base for building good software in today's connected world. Let's take a moment to truly see what tech English talk means. It is more than just knowing grammar rules. It is about being exact and clear when you talk or write about technology. It is about understanding the real meaning behind tech words, not just what they mean in a dictionary. It is about explaining hard ideas in a way that is easy to get, for you and for others. This skill is your key to getting many good things. Remember how we looked at the tricky words and API instructions. By learning those specific English ways of speaking, you have gained the power to use difficult tools with trust, feeling less stuck, and being able to add new features faster. When you can quickly understand what a tool or a set of code does from its instructions, you spend less time stuck and more time building. The skill to write code notes that are not confusing, as we practiced, is your bridge to working together easily. It makes sure that your coworkers, no matter what language they speak at home, can understand what you mean, fix your code, and build on your work with clarity and speed. Imagine a team working on a project. If the notes in the code are clear, anyone can help, even if they did not write that part. This makes teamwork smoother and faster. In the busy world of tech jobs everywhere, your skill in tech English talk becomes a big difference. It tells employers that you are not just a coder, but someone who can talk about things, solve problems, and is a valuable part of any team with people from different places. Companies want people who can not only write good code, but also explain it well and work well with different kinds of people. Think about the three main parts of our book's name: Code, Collaborate, Connect. Your better tech English talk helps all of them. When you code, you can better understand the tools and programs you use, and your own code becomes easier for others to read. When you collaborate, you can share your ideas better, understand what your teammates need, and help make the team a better and more productive place, no matter where they are in the world. And when you connect, you build stronger work friendships, meet more people easily, and open yourself to more chances around the world. The world of technology is always changing, and so should your skills. Think of this book as your starting point. Keep reading tech stuff, join online talks, and always look for chances to improve your tech English talk. Read tech blogs, follow coders online, and do not be afraid to ask questions or give answers. Ask for feedback on your code notes and any tech writing you do. Watching tech talks and presentations can also be very helpful for understanding how experts talk about hard ideas. You are now ready with the knowledge and simple ways to handle the tricky parts of tech English. Feel this new trust. You have the power to say your ideas clearly, to understand the small details of any technology, and to build good friendships with coders everywhere. As you keep working in tech, remember the important part that clear and good tech English talk plays. It will be your quiet helper with every line of code you write, every problem you fix, and every time you work with others, you are now more ready than ever to not just join the worldwide tech talks, but to lead them. The language of technology is English, but the power of that language is in your skill to master it. Go now, code with clarity, work together with trust, and connect with the world. Your journey in Tech English Talk has just begun. Thank you for joining us on this look at English for Tech. Code, collaborate, connect. We wish you great success in all your future work.